Okay, so now we have aerated, scarified, and now we have merged short. So the reason why I ended up going with the petrol rotary mower in the end was simply because there's a lot of lateral growth standing up, and it's a little bit more damp, and I just quite honestly thought the rotary might pick it up a bit better than what the cylinder does, and it saves me switching over them cassettes as well. What's always a relief, although it only takes 2 minutes. So this is kind of the current state of it. What I would say is the worst looking it's been all year. I mean, it actually looked green before I took this, but it just shows a lot of the time I find before you end up scarifying, before you take up that lateral growth, everything looks sound, and because it's been groomed in that same direction, or even though I change up my directions, even though it's been groomed one way, it almost grows to look alright in that setting. Whereas as soon as you pull it up and you kind of expose it for what it is, it's actually looking a bit shabby. So what I'm going to do now is that topsoil there is going to get spread out. And the plan is to do it before it rains. Freaking playing again. Okay, the plan is to do it before it rains. So that means most of this is probably going to be time-lapsed rather than like special effects or whatever, you know what I mean, certain shots. So I'm going to get that out, and I'm looking at not so much level, but my main aim is to get a good layer on it so that the seed can germinate easier with better soil to seed contact and all that sort of good stuff. So we're going to go for that now, and we'll see how it goes. Right, so topsoil is now down. This is kind of what we're left with. Remember, I'm not doing like a leveling project. I am literally just trying to get some top dressing down. Although I do have a few areas that are really low, so they're going to kind of naturally almost level out during this process anyway. But just down here, on this corner, there's a big drop. I would need loads. I can't really tell from this video, but you need loads to be able to fill that in, and I'm just not going to do that. And also what I did have was a really, down this point there was a big dip as well, that's kind of getting filled in, and around here I've kind of put down some extra as well, so everywhere else you can see sort of the old grass kind of peeping through. That's exactly what I wanted, and that's just, I mean, that'll grow better with the sunlight anyway, because they're actually, you know, getting the sun. Whereas everything else, I'm about to chuck down some seed now. What's going to be a perennial ryegrass mix. Like I say, I'll put that down at the end, what I've used. But I'm going to put that down now, absolutely cover it, and hopefully within the next couple of weeks we'll see some growth. So I'm going to go do that now, and I'll have that on a time lapse as well. Right, let's get back to it. So just looking here at the label, these are the varieties I'm using. CM1 Hardware and Lawn, and see the two perennials there mixed in with the Festruta rub. I'll probably pronounce that wrong. And all I'm going to be doing is sticking in this Scotch spreader. Okay, it's a bit banged up, but that doesn't matter. So I'm going to get that in there, load it, and like I say, I'm just going to put down loads in there and hopefully get a nice even spread. And then I'll do close to the edges just by hand scattering, and we should get a nice mix. After that, I'll then go back in with a rake again rake it over, so hopefully hides us from the birds a little bit, and then give it a water, and that'll be us. So I'll get into that now. Right, so that's me done for the day there. So this is what we're kind of left with. So you can obviously see through just having the topsoil showing through that these are the low points. 1, 2, and down there 3. Everything else is out pretty even, but obviously, I mean, there's still going to be a good bit of a dip there. It's quite hard to see, but it's going to be a whole lot better than what it was before. And you know, a season or two of this, it'll just gradually get more level. And you know, I'm not a fan of ripping it all up and starting again. So this is like the next best thing. So just remember, aeration. Okay, it's gonna, by doing that, you're gonna allow more oxygen down into the root zone, and it's gonna help with like water control as well. Okay then, so there we go for today. Aeration, so what does that do? The main things is it's opening up the sort of ground level as such, obviously by taking the hollow tines out. So you're going to be allowing oxygen and water into the root zone. Okay, obviously this then helps more nutrients get there, everything else. So for example, in a week or 2 weeks time, when I put down my fertilizer, so I've got just a 666 blend that I'm going to put down. So when that goes down, that's going to definitely get into the roots a lot more easier, and then be more beneficial basically. So that's why we do the aerating part. It also, obviously, the main reason for it is to relieve compaction. So you've got that as well. Even for myself, that like my son doesn't really play on the lawn or anything like that, but just by mowing it all season, it's going to build up so much more compaction. Scarifying, obviously you're getting rid of that thatch layer, any dead organic matter, and also what you're going to do, having it on the lower settings, it's going to make contact with the soil, so it's also going to help the seeds mix with the soil a whole lot better as well. So aeration and scarification is kind of key to the lawn makeovers, although I wouldn't say it's absolutely necessary to do both, but it's definitely going to help, and they've both got their own benefits basically. And then obviously, my process after that was to then throw down the topsoil, spread it out as you've seen, in that sort of flinging motion, level it out as best as possible, just by raking it down. Like I say, I never took any proper level. I'm not trying to get the lawn level, anything like that. I just wanted it spread thinly to help with the overseeding process. Going on to the next, using that perennial ryegrass, I will put the picture of it up here. So that's it up there, and I use that was from Amazon. I think it's £48 for 10 kilo of seed, what is pretty good value for money, considering how my lawn was start of the season, that I renovated with the exact same seed as what I'm using this time, and I got really good results. So that's why I went back to it and I'm using it again. But there's loads out there that people use, loads of different types. So that's what's going to happen. I go away tomorrow, so I'm going to water it again in the morning. Hopefully a couple of days of wet weather is going to help the germination get kick-started. Just remember, when you're doing this, keep it wet. Okay, you don't want the seed to dry out. If it dries out, it's going to die, and you're not going to get the results that you want. So keep it wet, and also not too wet where you're going to flood it. So just be careful, just do it by hand. Personally, I've got a sprinkler, and I've used that all year through, but as soon as it comes to overseeding, Okay, I'll just do by hand. It's half an hour of time for a lawn the size of mine, 60-70 meters squared, and it's easy. It's only going to be for 2 weeks or so, and then I can probably put a sprinkler down on it 2-3 weeks. So we'll see how that goes, but I'll have constant updates. Again, apologies, I haven't had many videos up lately, but they are going to start again. And then when we kick into next season, hopefully I can do my spring routine and everything else. But thank you very much for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe, follow my Instagram. Like I say, I always put updates on there of jobs that I'm doing as well. And it's all just coming together. So thank you very much for everyone that's watching, and take care, stay safe, and see you in the next video. Day 7. Okay, so this is where we are now. We are almost more or less to the hour actually, where we have done the job, and we have germination starting, just coming through here. So it's just tiny, but as soon as you start seeing it germinate like this, before you know it all just peeks through. So obviously I've got to get close enough to these middle patches. It's as I was saying earlier, that these are the 3 low points, so that's why we can still see the topsoil on it. But give these another 1 or 2 days and I'm sure you'll start seeing green come through. Happy days.